I went ahead and decided I want to make another video, probably another short one, because the other one I know it wasn't even the 15 minutes. I try not to make them too long because honestly, if you're anything like me, my attention span for especially YouTube, it's so easy to get caught down a rabbit hole and click a link and then click a link and click a link. A lot of people aren't going to spend the time to sit there and watch too much. It's something I wanted to bring up a little bit, and it's something I've really struggled with, especially these last couple days, and it's something that I continue to pray about, and I really have to focus my mind and my heart in a different direction, and that's so difficult when you got something on your mind or multiple things, and you're trying to sleep or you're trying to eat. Hey, I mentioned it before. I'm one of those people. They get sad or depressed, and I don't eat much. I really, in a lot of ways, I wish I was the kind of person that ate more when they got sad and depressed, because losing 40, 50 pounds through all this, that's big for me. Fortunately, I know I can get it back with just trying. I mean, dedicating myself to it and finding that drive. That's another thing is the past couple weeks I've been having trouble finding that drive, that motivation, the desire at times to even want to get up, even want to get out of the bed. The last couple nights I actually slept on the couch. Um, it may sound stupid, but for some reason, if I sleep in the living room, I feel less alone. But there's something that I have to continue to practice and really work on, and that's learning to be okay with not being okay. That may sound crazy, but yes, anybody in situations like mine or different situations where your life's changing, um, and at the moment it doesn't feel like it's for the better at the moment. But being okay with not being okay is huge, when, and I'm sorry to you, anybody that has experienced any of these feelings that I've been going through. I really hate it, and I really don't want anybody to have to face this kind of pain or hurt. Even the person that caused it, I pray for them. And as I've mentioned before, I know I'm not innocent by any means. I'm not innocent, but I'll just say I didn't deserve this, you know, at all. Worst case is, I at least deserved honesty. But yeah, I lay down and, you try to sleep, you close your eyes, and the worst thoughts pop up in here. I'm going to call it the devil, demons, whatever you want to call it. Like I said, I'm a Christian man, and again, the furthest from a perfect Christian. But I do believe that when I pray and I ask God hey, just help me lift this off me. Help me hold it up or push it out of the way. There's another thing I heard in the meeting yesterday, and it was a part of the 12 traditions or 12 steps. I can't remember, or the promises. But it said something about we do not wish to forget the past nor shut the door on it. I agree with most of that 100%. You can't forget the past. Even if you wanted to, you need to learn from it and move on from it and really use it to make you a stronger person. And I don't know if this will take me weeks, a couple months. I'm not sure how long this will take, but I know that every day that I just do the right thing, it does get better. Um, it gets a little easier to get up in the morning. It gets easier to sleep at night. The last couple nights, I slept for a very long time, and it was very difficult. Just every time I'd wake up, I'd have those demons in my head telling me this is what's happening behind your back or this and that. And you don't want to think about that. You just want to focus on your heart, your future, being a better man. If you're a dad, being a better dad. If you're my case where legally I don't have any rights, but I do know that in the future I'll always be there if they need me for whatever. Anything they need, I will always be there. And I'm not going to be this man right now. And thank God they weren't around to face these problems, because it would have been so much worse. So much worse if custody over the kids were involved, and I wouldn't even know how to handle that, because all I would think about is I'm not so much worried about the stuff or things as how is this affecting the children. But thankfully they're not a part of this. It does hurt. I miss them. But I don't want to see them. I don't want them to see me like this. And I just want to be that loving father, dad, the best I can be. Back in August, before the truth came out and all this really happened, and I don't really know when the truth started, but I knew I felt things changing in my heart every day. And you know my son's birthday party, I know that I may only get to see him once every few months, and it might be only for 2 or 3 hours, which is, I'm so grateful I even still get a chance to see them and spend time with them. But it is very difficult because I get there and I'm so excited, I'm so happy. My heart is just filled with love and joy. And even like the last visit, though, I'm sitting there next to my son Gabriel, and I'm choking up and crying. And my little 7-year-old boy, uh, I want to be clear about that. I'm the father, but yeah, no longer the dad. But he saw me. He saw me crying. He looked up at me, and he grabbed my hand and reached around, kind of gave me some love and put his head up against me and just told me he loves me and that he thought I was a great dad. And that was back in August. And every single time, I think about that love coming from my son. There is a lot of good in people around here. Let's see, what was it? Wednesday, I went and saw a doctor and got some help, and a nurse had kind of overheard why I was in there. And I just gave a quick synopsis. I'm not here to, or at least I wasn't at the doctor's office to tell my entire life story by any means. But and this goes out to anybody that's seeking help, whether it be a friend or meetings or a doctor, you have to be honest. And being honest, they believe I need counseling, I need severe help, and I believe they're right. And I'm reaching out to people in AA friends, and I've had friends reach out to me. But either way, I got off topic. That nurse had overheard. She came in. She was getting my vitals. Everything seemed okay, and I was just sitting there with my head down, not really saying much, and she just asked me to stand up. This is this black woman. I've never met her. I've been seeing that daughter for a while. I've never seen this woman, and she asked me to stand up, and I did, and she just gave me a big hug, and I lost it. I lost it. I started bawling my eyes out. There's a lot of good in people, and lately that's something that has meant the world to me, seeing the good in everybody, and it helps me with being okay with not being okay. There's a lot of love. Even the next morning, when I went to my meeting, there was this woman there I had never seen before. I'm gonna guess probably around my age. It just, we were walking in the meeting and just said hey, and then jumped up and gave me a hug. And again, I start tearing up. And I had a lot of people just pull me aside, talking to me, and it just really fills my heart up with a lot of love that I feel like I need, I guess. And that's one of the big gaping holes after something like this is you don't have that person to talk to. You don't feel that love. I mean, it's gone. Was it ever really there? What have you? So yes, reaching out and finding a lot of good in people and seeing that, hey, this world is not hopeless. Your situation is not hopeless. That's so important, is finding your hope, your love, and this goes on to being with somebody else new afterwards. You don't want to bring somebody into a mess emotionally here. When I do find somebody, God knows when, um, I will be there emotionally, physically, mentally, financially, what have you. I'm going to be there for them. But in order to be the right husband or boyfriend, or boyfriend then husband, or just somebody good to hang out with, you really got to remember, hey, I got to focus on myself. As hard as that may be, because I know everybody's first response typically is, I need to fill that void with somebody, with a person, with sex or drugs or whatever your thing is. Typically, I know that sex, drugs, and alcohol is a lot of how people cope, especially the first week or two. Um, and I'm guilty of using those methods, the alcohol, not the other two, to help cope. And all it did was temporarily fill that hole that evening. And the next morning, I woke up feeling more empty, feeling more hopeless, helpless. It did nothing except for numb me for a few hours. But the days that I have stayed clean and stayed sober, I'm not going to sit here and say it's honky-dory, but I'm handling the pain. I'm learning to be okay with not being okay. And that's okay. And if somebody doesn't understand, they don't need to be in your life. I love you guys, and thank you again so much for everybody that's reached out, and I pray that my journey can help others, and know that I falter, but I'm always going to get back up and keep going. I love y'all. Bye bye.